Hello everyone and welcome back to Wavering Reader. Now today I bring you a video that is basically recommendations for non-English native speakers who want to improve their English through reading. And so I bring you a few books with which you can really learn and improve your English. Without further ado, let's get right into them. Now the first book shouldn't be a surprise for anyone, and that is none other than Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. Now this we all know and love, and the biggest advantage of this is that if you're not a native English speaker, you've probably read this book, so you know the story. And for me, English isn't my native language, it's Spanish, but when I learn a new language, something that really helps me when I read a new book in that language is reading a story that I already know and love, because it keeps me going even if I'm struggling. And that's why I'm here recommending Harry Potter. So even if you don't understand everything that's going on, it does help you to keep going. Now the second book I've got here is also a series, also shouldn't be a surprise, and that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. And here it's kind of the same issue with Harry Potter. It's a very simple and easy book. The writing isn't overly complicated. You can understand everything really well. The vocabulary, it doesn't use very strange words, so it's easy. And then again, it's a story you've probably read and loved, and maybe you didn't, so I'm not going to get into that. But you probably know the story. You've either watched the movies or already read the book. And that is a really big recommendation I'm giving here today to people who want to improve their reading through English. Read books that you've read in your own language, because that will help you a lot. And so that's why I've recommended Harry Potter and again The Hunger Games. And what's really good with these two series is that you can complement it with the adaptation. You can watch the movies in English with subtitles in your own language, and that is also something that really helps you to improve your English, both your reading skills and your listening skills. So it's a plus, a win-win. So I really do recommend doing that. The next series I have here, because this is kind of a trend, they're all series, the books I'm recommending, is a series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. Now this is a middle grade or children's book series. It depends on how you want to tag it. It is very fun. It is about 3 orphans who have to go and live with this awful uncle who just wants to steal their money after their parents perish in a fire. Again, this is a very easy book since it is targeted towards a younger crowd, but they're still really fun. The first books are really short, they're like 100 pages. I've lent these books to Spanish friends who wanted to improve their English, and they've come back to me and said, hey, this was really good, can you lend me the next? And I did, because they're really easy books with which you can learn English without a doubt and without any kind of complications. And what's really good about Lemony Snicket's writing is that he does use some weird words now and again, but he explains them, and that is something very kind of nifty and good and just a really crafty way to explain things. And that's why I'm also recommending them. Plus, you also have a movie adaptation, which I don't know how many people watched it, but now there's also a Netflix show, which I do really recommend, because again, Netflix translates everything to many languages, so you can watch that in English with subtitles again. And the show is really good because it is a very faithful adaptation, and each book gets 2 episodes, and season 2 is going to come out. And it's just really good, so I do really recommend it. The next series I have here is Pretty Little Liars by Sarah Shepard. Now, if you've watched the show and you're feeling like, I got tired of the show because I love this show, but I do know many people got tired of it, the books differ from them a lot from what I've read. I've only read the first book, but the English is super easy. It is just like a super fast read. The books are really short. They are really entertaining, they are really funny, they're not overly complicated. I wouldn't recommend watching the show as an adaptation, because it again, the first book is the first episode of the show, the pilot, but from there on it kind of really changes stuff, so I wouldn't rely on that to really understand the book fully. But it is a very the vocabulary, the way the sentences are constructed, and the story is told. It's really simple for non-native speakers to understand, so I do really think it's a good book to kind of start and develop your skills. The next series I have here is The Selection by Kira Cass. Now this is kind of a case like Pretty Little Liars. It is a 5-book series. The 3 first books are the main trilogy, and then the second 2 books are kind of another part of the series. And it's this dystopian story where the prince hosts this competition, and girls, whoever wants, can apply to it to become kind of the next princess of Aurelia, of this kingdom. And it sounds very cheesy. It's kind of The Bachelor meets The Hunger Games, because they get chosen and a bunch of girls go to the palace and they have to learn new stuff and they kind of meet the prince. So it's very bachelory. If you like those type of realities, you will love the book. And again, it's kind of Pretty Little Liars in the sense that it's very simple, it's a very quick read, it's very entertaining, highly entertaining. It's kind of a guilty pleasure read. It has been translated into many languages, so I do feel you won't have a problem in finding it in your own language, and then you can kind of read it in English if that's what you want to do. The language is simple, so it will really help to keep you going even if you don't understand every single word you're reading. The last series I'm recommending here is a trilogy, and I call it the Heart, Star, Rose trilogy, but it's commonly known as the Anne and the French Kiss Companion series. Now, these are 3 books: Anne and the French Kiss, Lil and the Boy Next Door, and Isla and the Happily Ever After. You can read them in whatever order you want because each book has a different main character, but the characters from the first book appear in the second book, and the characters from the first and second book appear in the third book, so reading them in publication order is recommended because you will get a more enjoyable experience from this story. And this, again, is a very entertaining book series with amazing characters and just really fun stories. They are love stories, they are heartwarming, they are cute, they're not cheesy. The titles may sound cheesy, but they're not. They're very cute, they're very fun, and again, the writing is very, it's simple, yet not overly simplistic, if that makes sense. It's simple so that everyone can understand it. And if you don't want to read any of these books, I do recommend going more towards the YA, the Young Adult Contemporary section, because I find those books tend to be a little more simple and easy reads than fantasy books. Generally, fantasy tends to be more complicated with made-up words that can confuse people that are not native speakers and that may not understand everything they're reading. Middle grade and children's books are also an easy way to start reading and to start your journey into improving your English. So that's all for this video today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave me down in the comment section below if you've read any of these books, if you're not a native speaker, what are your techniques to improve your English? If you are an English native speaker, just write down below more book recommendations you think can help other people to learn English. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. You can also share this video on social media with their family and friends so that they can too learn English and improve their English skills. And also subscribe to the channel down below because I post videos here on Wavering Reader every Friday. So that's all for this video today. I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day.